Hi everyone. I just wanted to make another video about, I guess Divergent, the movie. I really enjoyed it. I watched it last night, a little late after the first release date, but it was really fun. I enjoyed the acting. The main actress, Shailene Woodley, is excellent, and she's very pretty and very stunning, and very convincing as an actress, and I think she fit that role perfectly. And Kate Winslet, I've always have loved her since Titanic and everything, and she's one of my favorite actresses probably. And then also I can't remember the guy's name. His name's Theo James in real life, but I can't remember what his name. Oh, his name was Four in the movie. Um, and what I did like about that movie is it definitely puts people into personality types in this futuristic world that people are segregated by. They have to take a test, and they have to take a test that says I'm going to be. And what's faction are we? And there are five factions, and I think it's interesting they did that because it kind of shows some tones about what what I guess MBTI and personality typing goes within these factions, and kind of how it does have a real world application, and all that. But so the factions are so I would say from this point on, spoiler alert, like I'm gonna talk about the movie for the most part. So if you don't want to know, if you want to go see the movie for yourself, I would go see it or read the book, or I haven't read the books, but I would just watch the movie because I thought it was really good. But there's different factions. There's abnegation, which is the selfless, and they're kind of like they'll help all the poor. They don't really they have no importance on vanity and all that, and it's they just go and help the poor, and to kind of help people without factions. They're kind of like probably like the religious people would be in our society. And then there's the candor. They're probably the more of the they're the law, but they make the laws, and they're stand up for the laws, and those would probably be the SJ kind of people, personality types, probably mostly very security seeking kind of people, and that's just kind of where they fit in society. And then there's amity, the peaceful side, and they're usually in this society they're the farmers, and they kind of the way they show them is it looks like they're complete hippies and stuff, and I thought it was really fun. But I think those would probably be the NFs, the idealists, probably out there in the they're out in the wilderness, kind of like or in the farming and feeding society, and there's probably like a bunch of different personalities would fit in, but I would say that mostly NFs would be in there. And then there's the erudite, um, the erudite part of the society, the faction, and they're the intelligent. They really value intelligence and being smart and creating new things and new ideas and really just bringing society back to they had this horrible war and bringing society, keeping everyone alive and all that, and coming up with big ideas. So I would definitely put them as NTs or STs. Kate Winslet's character, I don't remember her name, but she's definitely an INTJ. She's just really, really, has big ideas, but really thinks logically very much, and just always is logically. And then there's lastly is the Dauntless, and those are the brave people, and they serve as the police of the the whole city was of Chicago, like a dystopian Chicago, which is in dire straits, and it's very scary. And the Dauntless, they run around, and they're very like I always see them as the cops of today. Like they're very much like the cops, and they are the police, and they do follow orders, and they're meant to follow orders, and they're taught to follow orders. But so basically, Beatrice, or later becomes Tris, is the main character, and she tests as Divergent, and in this test, and she's supposed to get one of these different types, and she tests as Divergent. And I would say it's closely aligned to probably INFJ and INFP. That that's how it would be in society, and she's definitely an INF for sure. But I would say she's INFJ, and so she's in this society, and she tests, and she has to pick one of these classes. So she picks Dauntless because she thinks she feels brave on the inside. She's coming from a very timid and helping people faction to a very strong, hardcore fighting. You got to be really physically fit faction. The Dauntless, who are basically use their hands and fists a lot when they're just working in everyday life. So she enters in, and what's very INFJ, I think, about what she does is she enters in this group, and then immediately she changes her name. I think that INFJs or most NFs in general would like to have a more self-identification, have another form of identification, um, rather than their given names, because we want to define ourselves, and that's the most important thing to us. So she definitely she goes away from Beatrice and she names herself Triss, a shortened version of Beatrice. I think that's very interesting. So she gets going, and she gets in there and raised in abnegation, which is a very peace. They don't do a lot of um, fighting and stuff like that. And she's not raised like how the other Dauntless are, who they're raised from, like Spartans almost, like to fight every day. And so she is failing the classes at the beginning. She's training and she's failing, and she's getting her ass handed to her, and she's like in last place in the first few days or something. So eventually she takes that, I think she takes her really self-critical point and says, I want to do this. I'm going to kill it. I'm gonna beat everyone. And she fights, she fights, she fights. She practices, she practices, she does better. She's going up in rank. And she does come up with some new ideas to eventually, I guess, um, uh, like, I guess intuitive ideas. Like, instead of, like, at some point they're playing Capture the Flag, and they're playing with, like, these guns and stuff, and she goes up and she goes on the Ferris wheel, and she sees the enemy flag because she goes really high up, and she's really brave and really daring. But she also figures out a new way to win this little game that they're playing, and eventually she does find it and she does win. So that's a very intuitive trait, I would say, to come up with a new idea how to get something done rather than just go with what's already been socially acceptable or done in your life before. So, which I think is interesting. Um, what I also like about her, so she keeps going, and basically it's going to end up being a fight between the Erudites, the intelligence, one to get rid of abnegation because abnegation has a lot of power, I guess, and there's a lot of ruling class there, or something. I can't remember quite what it was, but Erudite is hellbent. Kate Winslet's character is really just hellbent on getting rid of these people. They don't like them, and she has a really logical method for this. She doesn't really take into account human emotion. She just goes logical, what will make our society better. She repeatedly says human emotion and human flaws got us to where we are today in this like really scary society. And why I think that's good is that so it shows like I've always seen science fiction. I've always seen like an INFJ kind of character versus an INTJ character, or something like that. Like the supercomputer versus like the like the Gandhi kind of thing. I don't know, I'm saying like really just feeling kind of people, really humanitarian kind of people versus like really logical people. And I think that's very interesting. I'm not saying INTJs are bad. I'm just saying that this is what they are always kind of shown as, like the evil. They always come with the big evil plan to kill everyone. And that's why I like it. That's why I think it's very interesting. So she's going, and eventually, some of the plot works out, and some bad things happen, and it's basically Triss versus Kate Winslet, and that's what happens, and eventually Triss wins, and it's kind of just a kind of a good ending, but I really liked the movie. I definitely showed a lot how I guess like if we did split into society, how we would put each other in personality types, and if we did have people's jobs like directly go to your personality type, or like what would you would most fit in based on the system, but INFJs don't, I guess, follow the system, or INFPs probably don't either. So, for her, she became a divergent, and that's someone who's, why Kate Winslet was so terrified of Triss was because, she was a divergent against society, and, she could crumble it. She could show that you don't have to follow these borderlines. You don't have to be one group. And that's exactly how I feel. I feel like, I feel like I could fit into all those groups. I could feel like I would feel in all 100% in those groups. And if I was in one of those groups, I would feel like I was lying to myself. In every single one. I feel like I would be in part of the intelligent people. I feel like I would be part of the brave, and the peaceful, and the honest, and the selfless. And that's what for her mentor and eventually lover says is that he has a tattoo with all the factions on his back, and and that's a big thing and part of the story. And it shows that he encompasses all of those different um, factions and those different beliefs and ideas. And I think it's very interesting. So I really like that movie. I would recommend everyone go see it. You might, if especially if you're in MBTI, it definitely shows a new world where we can kind of put ourselves in personality types and all that stuff. And I really liked it. The CGI and the, if CGI was good, but the plot was even better. And I love when that goes hand in hand, not just CGI only. Um, what else do I like about it? Yeah, some really cool scenes too, and and just good. There's some good friendship and some really sad parts too. And it's just a great movie. I really liked it a lot. I would say it's a good science. It's gonna go in science fiction classics. So go ahead and go see it, guys, and let me know what you think. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.